Hello everybody. Rainy Memorial Day weekend. Decided to stick around this weekend. We were out last weekend and we're going to be out next weekend. So we thought we'd do this video for you. This video is the $33,000 Mercedes Sprinter van build. And I wanted to show you some of the highlights, some of the things we did, and an overview of the van. Like I said, 2013 two-wheel drive Mercedes passenger van, diesel engine. Bought it with 84,000 miles on it. I think we got 102,000 miles on it now. It's been wonderful so far. We purchased it for $25,000. At the time, it booked out for high $23,000 range. With some of the finishes that the person we purchased it from, I made him an offer of $25,000. A couple things that came with the van that the person had already done was put the shelf in over the cab here. We keep extra blankets, hats, raincoats, bedding, things like that up there. And also what was already included in the van when we purchased it was the shelf, the bunk with this unique framing system here, and these are removable, which supports the bed framing system. The shelving back here was already built, which is why I paid a little bit more than book value for the van. And it was, however, not electrified, so I electrified it, and we purchased the sink and built the sink cabinet, built the upper cabinet here, electrified it. There's all the electrical equipment. A few other things we did was cut the hole in the roof and put the fan in. That was a scary day. It's very scary cutting a hole in the roof of your van, just saying. But starting out with the cooktop and the sink, we built this galley, I guess you would call it. These shelves or drawers we purchased from Target, very inexpensive. I think I built the cabinet with just wood that I had in the already had in the garage. Fresh gray water tank, electrical outlet to plug the induction cooktop into, water pump, switch that turns the inverter on and off, and a switch that turns the water pump on and off, which is on right now. It should be off because we're not doing anything. The plumbing. Sanded piece of wood for the top, treated with Waterlox type coating, which works great. Sink, faucet, upper cabinets, which if you're familiar with these passenger vans, they have their air conditioner unit on top, so the cabinet kind of only opens to like there. But we get used to it. We can still reach in there and get things in and out, so didn't really have a good solution of a workaround for that, so we just went with it, and it's worked fine. That's what you do when you do a bargain build. Light fixture above the area so you can work at night. Light fixtures above the bunk along with the fan. Shelving we can put all of our clothes. Insulation for blocking out the windows. We also have the same thing for this window. We've got these curtains drop down over the front so people can't look in through the windshield. We've got another block out Reflectix, I think it's called, that we use for the passenger window, and we've got some insulated ones that we use for the back windows. And we also have an insulated piece that we can put up there in the fan so that keep the cold air out in the winter. We did put the ceiling in. We didn't like how it was done when we purchased it, so we redid the ceiling, which now we're very happy with. And cup holders, both sides, for when we have our coffee in the morning. Little thermometer to see how cold it gets, which if you've seen some of my older videos, it's done some pretty cold camping. This is the toilet right here, and the mount kit, which I've videoed earlier, and so I encourage you to take a look and see how I did that. Works pretty well. We're real happy with it. Dometic refrigerator, we've done some videos on that also. We really like it still. It's been a game changer for us, and we are super duper happy with it. It makes it so much easier. Plenty of storage for all of our stuff. We've got a space heater there, tools, lantern, fan, little table for chairs. That's where you store the portable shower when we're traveling. Works pretty well, and then when we want to shower, we just remove it, hang it off the back door, and it works really good. Especially if you can set it in the sun for a while. It actually gets too hot sometimes. Storage on the back door for miscellaneous items. Bike mounts in the back. We usually carry 2 or 3 bikes with us. Electrical system is probably the most involved and was probably the most expensive, but I've got 3 90 amp hour batteries here. And those give us enough power to probably do 6 cooks. And what I mean by 6 cooks would be, let's just say, for example, dinner on Friday night, coffee Saturday morning, a little breakfast Saturday morning, dinner Saturday night, coffee again Sunday morning. Pretty much get through the weekend on what power you have right here. We don't have any solar. We charge from the alternator when we're traveling. Works pretty good. And then if we happen to have an opportunity to plug into shore power, we can plug into shore power and let this Iota Charger do its job. This disconnects the system from the batteries, fuses for all the branch circuits. This is the disconnect from the alternator to the batteries. It's not good to have a disconnect on it, just so you can isolate it if you'd like. There's also another relay that I have under the seat that does it automatically, but sometimes it seems slow to react. And if the battery's definitely fully charged, I don't want it charging when it's fully charged. Inverter, 2,000 watt inverter, 4,000 peak. Our biggest appliance is 1,500. Unless I'm running I got a bigger space here that's like 1,600, but the inverter will handle it. What I like about this inverter is that it has an auto transfer feature that will, it'll sense if you're plugged into shore power and just kick over and energize all of your receptacle outlets inside the van while still allowing the charger to charge up your batteries. Essentially, it's not inverting anymore. It's just passing through, and then you are able to maximize your charging capabilities. And branch circuits leaving the inverter out to the various receptacles. I got 3 or 4 receptacles in the van. One's right here. That's the first one. That's the GFI. You want all of your other receptacles to feed off of the load side of your GFI receptacle. Got a light back here in what I call the garage, and it's been great for us. This is where the shore power comes in at, right here, and then we split off right here. We split off. One goes to the inverter, and the other one goes to the charger, right here. And that's the overview of the electrical system. I've got all my stuff surface mounted, doesn't bother me. I've got an electrical background. I like to see my stuff. Never have damaged anything. You may ask, energized, exposed parts, yes. And what I do is I've got this moldable rubber that you can heat up and mold it onto different places that you have concerns with, and it provides an insulating cover. So I use that there on the inverter for the positive going to the inverter. I use it on the battery terminals. I can't remember what the stuff's called though, but you could probably Google it and find it. And it works good, you know, in case you dropped a screwdriver or something off across the positive and negatives, it would keep that from frapping out. And that works well for us. I'm comfortable with it. Like I said, I've got an electrical background, and we've not suffered any damage on any of the components so far for them being exposed. The exposed wire is 12 volts, and then the building wire, Romex, is of the higher voltage, line voltage. But like I said, I don't have a problem running it surface mount. We haven't damaged it, and it's pretty durable. Actually, when it goes out into the van, it travels up through here and up, so protected for the most part. So to go over kind of the features and the cost of some of these items on the van, like I said, I mentioned the purchase price. I got to log back into my computer because I have to keep it on a spreadsheet. Tax licenses were $1,032. The inverter was $390. Battery cables, about $100. The battery disconnect switch, 200 amp was $71. I tried buying a less expensive one on Amazon for like $12, but it didn't trip. I bought a 200. It said it was 200 amp, but it tripped at a much lower amperage. I think I had like a 1200 watt load on it, and it tripped out. So it just, I think it was just counterfeit, no name brand that I purchased on Amazon. So I went ahead and I spent the extra money. It was $71 to buy a Bussmann disconnect switch, which is a very reputable name in electrical devices. So I had to do that. So I don't recommend anyone skimping on your disconnects. Fuse block terminal mount and then blade fuses are $29. Receptacles, the GFIs, the boxes to go in them, that was about another $35. The induction cooktop was $130. Power inlet with the dual leads, $26. The batteries, 90 amp hour, $2,100 for the 3 batteries. The fan plus the putty and the caulking and hardware was $150. Miscellaneous wire connectors, LED lighting, lots of different kinds, as you can see, about $150. The terminal covers, $19 for a bag of it. The toggle switch, $4. Plywood, we spent about $100 in plywood and aluminum angle iron for different ways of attaching things. Hardware, steel studs for mounting things, another $25. Like I said, I already had a lot of that kind of stuff, so we didn't have to purchase a bunch of that stuff. But the mattress was $200. Van wife made some really nice bug screens by hand, and that cost $70 in material. About $25 in additional insulation for the van, and whenever we take off a side panel or something, we made sure it was fully insulated before we put everything back together. We had to repair the backup camera because it didn't work. It was $250. Doing the charging relay from the alternator, that ran $600. Kitchen cabinets with the hardware in the template ran $60. Spare key and on-starting key for the van was $27. Then we purchased a starting key, which was $200. Those are kind of pricey. About $12 in Reflectix for making the blackout screens. The toilet and the hold down kit was $150. The sink was $80. The gray water, freshwater tanks were about $35. I've got heaters under the toilet, under the gray and freshwater tanks, under the battery that keep everything warm, to try to keep you kind of out of the woods in freezing conditions. Those were about $175, along with the digital thermostat, which you can see back there in the corner. That's what controls and turns those heaters on and off, depending on the temperature. Bought some more battery cables for $15. The Iota Charger back there was $167. Updated the shocks and struts. It was $1,200 installed for those. That was kind of a big upgrade, but well worth it. The ride quality is so much better. Not included in the total. That total comes out to about $32,000. Not included in the total is the fridge. So if you put the fridge in there, that's where I'm coming up with our $33,000 van build. And that is it. Very happy with it. Vanning on a budget. Slightly primitive, but we've got everything we need. We don't have any plans of doing any other major upgrades. You know, for about the first year we owned this, every time we come back from a trip, we would have a list of things to do and upgrades that we wanted to make. But the last several trips, we've come back and have been very happy with where we're at with it, and don't have any plans to make any major investments. One thing that would be really nice to have would be a diesel heater to keep us warm in the winter. Those run about $3,000 installed. I definitely wouldn't take that on myself. So even with that, we would still be under 35,000-ish, 36,000 for the van build, which is still pretty reasonable when you see some of the prices of some of these vans out there. You know, if you check Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, you're seeing vans for well over $60,000, $80,000, $100,000. I have a hard time with it, with justifying that cost for the diesel heater with a van that has 104,000 miles on it. I do know that they go a long time, and you can, if you take care of them, they will last. You will get people push 300,000 miles on them all the time. I know that. So that's just something I'm struggling with. Probably make the decision before next winter whether we want to do something like that. But that would be the main. That's kind of like the big piece that we're missing with this van. But we haven't really had any issues except a few cold nights, but again, those haven't been that bad. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, send me a note. I'll be happy to answer them. I just wanted to go over our interior $33,000 van build with everybody. Thank you.